Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my review of Lucha Underground Season 1, Episode 10. And this episode is called Law of the Jungle, and it was taped on October 18th, 2014. And this episode aired on January 14th, 2015. And this episode starts off with a meeting between Dario Cueto and Phoenix. And Dario Cueto tells Phoenix that he's been very impressed with him since he came to Lucha Underground. And he wants Phoenix to take on Prince Puma in the main event. And at first, Phoenix says no because he doesn't want to fight Dario Cueto's battles. He wants to fight for himself and fight to be the best. And Dario Cueto then he even had gone on to talk about how he wants to embarrass Prince Puma and embarrass Conan. And Dario Cueto then says that don't think of it as fighting my battles. Think of it as fighting to be the best because he makes this match for the Lucha Underground Championship. And um, Dario Cueto then says that if you should take this opportunity because it may go to somebody else. So obviously this ended up setting up the main event where Prince Puma was going to defend the Lucha Underground Championship against Phoenix. I like this segment. I thought it was good getting it up. And then we had and I forgot to mention, we had the commentary team of Matt Striker and Vampiro. And then we had the first match on the show. It was Aerial Star versus um, Arenas. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to say that. And versus Ancel and Angelico or an Elico versus Cage. And this was Cage's first match in Lucha Underground. I figured he would win because they had been showing vignettes week after week for him. But the first thing that happens is Cage ends up dominating all three competitors in the matchup, and then the other three competitors end up, um, you know, triple teaming Cage. He hit Aerial Style hits a 619 to Cage's gut, and Genus ends up hitting a dive on the outside run on the Cage, and then Genus and Aerial Star go at it, and Genus and Aerial Star ends up hitting a head scissors to Hurricanrana, and they have Genus hits a super kick, and eventually there's this big spot where Cage ends up hitting a torture rack into a neck breaker, which was really cool. And then he ends up hitting a I believe he hit it onto and Anlico, and then who was it? Aerial stuff. No. Genus ends up hitting a suicide dive on the outside right onto Cage, and then Aerial Star hits a flip dive on the outside, and then um uh, Angelo Lico ends up in a sick suicide dive right over the steel post, but then eventually Cage ends up hitting a power bomb face buster onto Genlico, or however you say his name, and then he does the same thing to to Genus, and then he ends up eliminating Aerial Star with a power bomb, and then he ends up into a discus clothesline, and then he hits a discus clothesline onto um uh, um Angelico for the win and wins the Fatal 4-Way elimination match. But this was a really good match, 3 3/4 stars. Definitely check it out. I thought it had a lot of really fun power moves by Cage, and I think the whole purpose of this match was to make Cage look like a dominant badass, and that's exactly what happened. So I really enjoyed this 3 3/4 stars. And then we had the next segment. Chavo Guerrero Jr.'s in the win, and he was scheduled to have a face off with Blue Demon Jr. And Chavo says that he regrets turning his back and ruining the relationship between the Guerreros and the Blue Demon Jr. family. So he calls out Blue Demon Jr. to apologize. Blue Demon Jr. comes out, and Chavo Guerrero Jr. goes ultimate heel and says he apologizes for not doing what he did sooner, for not ripping off his mask and giving you a crimson mask. Then he pulls up brass knuckles and he is about to hit Blue Demon Jr. Blue Demon Jr. hits a takedown on Chavo Guerrero Jr. He beats the crap out of him. He hits him off the head with the steel chair, and then he hits him right across the back with the steel chair afterwards, and Blue Demon Jr. stands tall. So I thought this was a really good segment here. It was a really good way to put over the feud between Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Blue Demon Jr. getting it up, and also the four-way elimination match is also getting it up. Then we had King Quano versus Drago, and Drago hits a Hurricanrana on the outside onto King Quano. Then he goes for, and then he hits a flip dive on him on the outside. King Quano gets the upper hand, hits a flip dive on him himself, and then he pulls out a table from underneath the ring, and he tries to put Drago through it, but Drago fights out of it and hits a Hurricanrana onto King Quano, and then Drago hits a suicide dive on the outside. And then King Quano pulls out a steel chair, goes to hit Drago with it. Drago hits a super kick, and then he puts King Quano onto the table, and then he goes off of Dario Cueto's office and hits a shooting star press or a 450 right off the office, right onto King Quano through the table, and the referee rules the match a no contest. I was okay with this because I think the purpose of this match was to further the feud between King Quano and Drago, so the match will get a 3.25 stars, and the match will also get an up. And then we had a vignette for Phoenix talking about how no matter how much you put Phoenix down, he's always going to rise back up and win in the end, which I thought was a good vignette, getting it up. Then we had the main event. It was a Lucha Underground Championship match. Lucha Underground Champion Prince Puma versus Phoenix. I thought this was a great main event. I love the stalemate that they had in the beginning where they both, kind of exchange chain wrestling holds and nice hurricanranas. Eventually, they both just hit crazy dives right in the beginning, and then Phoenix kind of takes control of the matchup. He hits a hurricanrana, a really cool pump kick, and then eventually Prince Puma hits a axe kick, and he takes control of the matchup for a little while. He hits a standing moonsault. He hits a drop kick, and eventually they both just really start going after each other. Phoenix ended up hitting a 450 onto Prince Puma. Prince Puma kicked out of it. Prince Puma hits a inverted pile driver onto Phoenix, which was Phoenix's finisher. And then eventually the finish comes when Puma goes to walk across the ropes, but Puma hits a super kick on him, and then he hits the 360 for the win, and Prince Puma retains the Lucha Underground Championship. I thought this was a really good match. Actually, I thought it was a great match. I'm going to give this match 4 stars. It was great. And then afterwards, Cage pops up from behind Prince Puma and attacks him and beats the crap out of him, and then hits the discus clothesline on him, and pretty much just, and then he also hits a power bomb into the discus clothesline. And then from this picture, we know that Cage is going to be the next contender for the Lucha Underground Championship, which I'm obviously okay with, and that was the end of Lucha Underground. I thought this was a great episode. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I thought every match delivered. I thought every segment delivered, and I thought it was a great episode. So that's my thoughts on Lucha Underground, and that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video for more content. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM brothers and no one the Talking to YouTube channels, and that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.